Put your mics on. Okay, we'll call this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. First item on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
Good. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Also need a motion to make the proof of publication a matter of record.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And also need a motion to make a matter of public record the affidavits for both applicants' petitions today.
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
Motion second. In favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we have 3 petitions before the board today. 2 are for Andrew Stimson. Andrew is requesting a 15-inch variance to build 0 inches above the crown of the street at 29 Homestead, Decatur, Indiana 46733. This refers to City Code 151.05, which is minimum building standards. The ground level floor of new construction shall be built on a grade level not less than 15 inches above the crown of the street on which the new construction is located. Mr. Stimson is also requesting a special request to have total height of the new pole barn at the same address 24 feet tall, City Code 150.097, maximum height of buildings, accessory buildings 18 feet. So Mr. Stimson, if you could step up to the mic, please. And give us your name, address, and just explain what you're looking to do here.
My name is Andrew Stimson. I reside at 29 Homestead here in Decatur, Indiana, 46733. The 2 petitions, we go each separately or together?
Yeah, we can talk about the 15-inch first.
So the 15-inch first, the first, there's 3 big reasons I have that. First one is just the cost to build the property up. So I did get some estimates to build the property up. It'd be a little over 3 foot to build up the region up where the pole barn is going to sit. With that would eat up a little close to around 80% of my currently total plan budget just to build the property up to accommodate this floor. Second would be watershed issues. This would be near a neighbor's structure existing to the north of the full building. And then also my shed on my property and my house on my property. So this being 3 foot higher than anything else is going to create some watershed issues to my adjacent properties there. And then last thing is just aesthetics. I think do play a role there. We have a full barn up on a hill right next to my neighbor's building there to the north that would sit just the bottom of this building would have to sit right at the height of the wainscot on the neighbor's building there, so you could kind of that would look off, I think, too. So I think the biggest things, the cost, and then just the developmental property to build comment. This would be the cost of the building structure.
Okay. Anything from your perspective, Kurt, Brad?
No, the 15-inch rule is basically designed around our special flood hazard areas. That was a requirement that DNR, FEMA, ISO, NFPI, or P enforce us to pursue. When it comes to an area that's not in a special flood hazard area, they view it as just being a normal ordinance like the side yard setback.
Okay.
They're not concerned unless it's in that special flood hazard area.
Okay. I think we'll do these together because they kind of wrap together. So if any questions from the board concerning the 15-inch above crown?
No. It'll sit same elevations, neighbors.
Yeah, that's what my neighbors make up, kind of match the neighborhood in.
Okay.
So if it floods, you have to deal with the insurance, huh? Don't worry, nothing to do with me.
My property naturally falls towards the back, so I think it'd be a good situation.
Yeah.
That's not my property there.
Okay. So as far as the 24-foot tall special exception.
So the reason being there is initially a price that are looking at around 10-foot ceiling just to be under that 18-foot over and scratch talking to Kurt. Well, I'm applying for the exemption for the 15-inch to add this also. I'd like to have at least a minimum 12-foot ceilings in the shop. With that 12-foot, it puts me at that 18-foot mark, so I'd like to have some variance there to even go a little bit taller on the ceilings up to 24-foot to give me room there to build it to ceiling as far as that goes.
Okay, so that's the peak, correct? Or the
Correct, yeah.
peak of the roof?
Great.
It's going to push right up to 18. If it goes to 18.2, we're covering.
Yeah, if I am going to 24, even if he were to make the walls just a little bit taller to maybe get a loft in there, that would give him some play.
Okay. Any questions from the board regarding this?
Is next door, is that where they're building the new house?
Correct.
That thing's pretty tall, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up to 35 feet on the main street.
Oh, okay. I just drove by last night and I was looking at that. I'm like, wow, that's up there. So,
Secondary structures, outbuildings can only be 18 feet.
copy.
My neighbor's property in North also obtained this variance too, and his is about 18, so we're going to be a kind of fact to neighborhood there, and that's
Okay. So any further questions from the board about the 24-foot special exception? Okay. So at that point, the board will hear from anyone in opposition in the audience to either the 15-inch or the 24-foot special exception. Seeing and hearing none, we'll hear comments from people in favor. Seeing none, any final questions, comments from the board? Okay, well, we'll move to the findings of fact. So the first reading here is for the, which one is it? The variance, the 15-inch above crown. So in considering all appeals or variances to this chapter, the board shall first determine if the granting of variance. The granting of the variance will not permit any use in any district which will be in conflict with the permitted uses of the district under this chapter. Yes, agree, or no, disagree.
Yes.
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 It will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property.
Yes.
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 It will not unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets.
Yes.
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 It will not increase the danger of fire or of the public safety.
Yes.
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 It will not unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It will not in any other respect impair the public health, comfort, safety, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the city.
Yes.
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 It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for variance is granted or denied.
Granted.
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 Send that to the
Couldn't make that bigger, Donald?
Okay, now we'll move on to the special exception for the total height of the barn at 24 feet. So the board may authorize a special exception for certain uses as defined in this chapter, providing the applicant has provided information that proposed special exception will be in compliance with all applicable conditions and requirements of this chapter. The establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare. Yes, agree, no, disagree.
Yes.
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 The special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes.
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 The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes.
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 Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes.
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 Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion on public streets.
Yes.
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 The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all the requirements set forth in City Ordinance 150.263 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes.
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 It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted.
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 All right, Mr. Stimson. So just work with Kurt and Brad and the team now to get your building up and good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
both of his together?
Yeah, both of these together. One packet. Okay, the third petition and final petition for today's meeting, Seth Huber at 500 North 9th Street, Decatur, Indiana 46733, is requesting to make a modification of his business hours that were adopted by the BZA on August 16th, 2022. So, Mr. Huber, if you could come to the mic, name and address, and then I have one additional item to make a matter of record.
Okay, Seth Michael Huber, 705 Forest Park Drive, Vernon.
Thank you. So we received multiple emails, but this one was requested to be read during the meeting and made a matter of public record. It's from a neighbor. It says, hello, the noise coming from the steel beam block is worsening. I am tired of complaining and even more tired of putting up with it. They have absolutely no respect for the surrounding areas. Mr. Huber said during the last board meeting that he would move the loading and stuff away from beside my house. Nothing has changed. He was also told that he needs to be neighborly, being that he is with residents. He is. Anytime something happens and they get caught, they slide their way right out and do it again. And like I've said, these kids can't nap. We can't have windows or doors open 5 days a week. Mr. Huber isn't even there much to watch over or see what the employees of his are doing. All we want is for them to quiet it down like they showed they can do after the last board meeting. It didn't last long, but they did do it. They stopped the screeching and bangs for a short period of time. If there's something more I need to do, please let me know. Thank you.
Make it a matter of record, entertain a motion.
Yeah, so I would entertain a motion to make this email from Ms. Portman a matter of public record.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so, Mr. Huber, can you explain what you'd like to do today or what the business is today?
Right now we operate 7 to 4, and I'd like to keep those hours, but once in a while, so the truck loading is 8 to 3. Once in a while the trucks get backed up or behind schedule, so sometimes it pushes after 4. So we just want to be able to just continue loading on occasion until 5 or 6 and just finish off the day pretty much. So we keep the same operating hours, but once in a while it does push over. And then they start rushing, and that's when everything gets worse pretty much. They start slamming and stressing.
So it's currently 7 to 4, and you're looking to go to 8 to...
8 to 6, yeah. And we'll keep it operating the same times, but just once in a while it carries over, like the trucks run.
So essentially you want to go to 7 to...
7 to 6, yeah. Because right now, 7 to 4.
So you want to keep 7 operating
I'm
line?
fine with 8, 8's fine, yeah, if we want to push it back an hour, that's, yeah. They usually don't do much in the morning, so that's fine, if I can. It's just trucks are coming in, they just get behind traffic or whatever, get unloaded somewhere else, so once in a while we'd like to try to deal with push loads at the end of the day, but our truck cutoff is free. There's 2 or 3 trucks sitting there. We used to turn them away. I hate doing that, just after they've been sitting there for 2 or 3 hours waiting. So once in a while we'd like to be able to just finish off loading those guys.
So what are the specific hours you're looking for? Because I thought it was 8 to 5. Now I'm hearing 7 to 6, and I'm hearing 8 to 5 or 8 to 6. So what are the specific hours we're looking for here?
The
I could
application.
operate 8 to 6 would be, but I'm going to keep our loading hours 8 to 3. But once in a while, yeah, so I'm not going to tell a truck to come in at 5 o'clock. I'm going to still tell them 3, but they might show up at 3:45, and it'd be nice to just be able to load them. So 8 to 6, I guess, is what the hours would be.
So if you have a truck that comes in at 3 o'clock to load,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes to load a truck.
It depends if there's a bunch of different sizes, they can take an hour sometimes. Yeah.
But you're
We try to
loading-
have it staged and ready, but that doesn't always happen.
So 30 to 60 minutes?
Yeah. Then if there's already a truck sitting there, we gotta load him first, and yeah, so then it just kind of gets pushed back a pinch. And it doesn't happen every day, but we've gotten in trouble a few times for finishing up at 4:15. Yeah, I don't think we've really stayed until past 5 usually, maybe one time 5:30, but you know, usually we can get it all done in that time frame by 4. But it'd be nice to be able to just finish the day if we can do.
When you say you try and have it all staged, what does that mean? What does
Just
that
pull it out of
entail?
the file and just sitting there ready to just pretty much pick it up and set it on the truck.
Okay.
So whatever's going on in the truck is already sitting.
Sitting there ready.
Not just picking out of piles and loading, it's already just staged.
got the piles part. It was more the,
Yeah.
like, moving the beams. Is that what causes this, like, the
The noise?
screeching and
Yeah,
dragging?
pulling out piles
Is
and stuff.
getting them staged. So
Yeah.
if everything is properly
It's really not
staged,
terrible, just picking each layer up and setting on the truck. It's not
because
usually the big noisy part. No, it's not that.
That's just pulling.
Pulling them out, or it's a stack, having to lean over, it's trying to get in between it.
So it's not the loading that's so much making all the noise.
Loading's not necessarily that, yeah, no.
So, I mean, I would agree. I live a mile and a half-ish away, I think, probably less than that as the crow flies, but, I mean, I can hear this at 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's like it's in my front door. I mean, if I'm out on a walk or walking my dog, it's right next door. And I know there are other things in the city that are loud. Train cars colliding, they sound like they're landing right next to my house, too. Don't get me wrong, I mean, the train horns, I mean, I get that, but, I mean, it feels and sounds, and Kevin, maybe you can speak to this better since you are a neighbor, that we did have a period where it was better.
Yeah.
I know when you were in here the last time, we offered some suggestions.
And we tried them, and it just, the covers, it tore them up pretty within a day or two, yeah. Because I even took some down to Panacea and powder coated them, and
Yeah.
it just didn't, yeah, it was only a day or two it tore that up. It's just the pressure, I think, of the beams. I mean, there's only real skinny on each side of the pressure, it just tore them right off there.
Yeah, and I happened to be at a former place of business a week ago, and it was right next to a steel company. And I worked there for 8 years, and we operated 24/6, and they operated 24/7, and I never heard, they loaded out beams like this, created them and loaded them out. I never heard or had an issue. It was all in an industrial area, don't get me wrong, but I never heard the noises that I'm hearing come from this place. So, I mean, what other alternatives are there? There has to be another method or something, or a better way to stack things or something. 'Cause you got to be neighborly, right? I mean, this is my opinion, but you got to be neighborly.
Now, I know a couple of the forks we got from SDI were skinnier, or wider, and skinnier, which that seemed to help. And obviously, probably just letting one of the guys gets kind of reckless. If I just fire him, it would probably help.
It would. I know who he
There's
is.
probably one that's kind of runs around like an idiot. I'm not gonna lie.
It's hideous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've witnessed he has two beams on the forks and he's flying down through there and they're rocking back and forth.
Yeah, and you gotta have them up against your forks because that's what you hit all the bumps and it walks back. That's what makes
all the
clear
noise.
enough air at that point, so then it kind of echoes out,
Yeah.
not low. Yeah.
Well, you did get fired, yeah.
I did try cars all the time. I fired one, and then one more that I think. Which I just hired a new manager over there last week. Kind of helped. So he just started leaking it.
Did you have a manager in place
I
prior?
did before, but he wasn't very good, so he kind of stepped down from that. He was
More
terrible.
one of the workers who stepped into the and didn't necessarily care enough.
Care.
So
You just need some of that
kind of
care.
took him out of the role and added
It's hard to find passion. Some of that care. So
Who was there this morning?
this morning? Everybody was there this morning.
This morning was bad.
This morning?
Bad. The slamming and, I mean, it's like they're throwing those beams. It's just, it's hideous.
That's right. Yeah, that's what it takes. Just let him go and get through that.
I'll say on my side of it, but I mean, other than matter of record, we have multiple complaints, and even not formal ones. Like if we're around town, we know quite a bit of people, and they're like, "What the hell's going on over there?" Nobody doing anything. So it's kind of to come in and ask for a variance of the variance to have more time of it. I mean, I got a hard time with it, to be honest with you. It's gonna be. However you could fix it, if you got to fire a guy and come back in a couple months or whatever it is to fix it, then we can look at changing it. But as of now, I'm in the point where I'm like, you've got to figure out how you're going to do this to make it neighbor friendly, city friendly, all that kind of stuff before we can start changing the variance. And that's my opinion.
This was a special exemption or variance?
Or a special exemption.
So when
yeah.
we grant a special exemption and we do the finding of facts, one of them is, are we lowering the property value of anybody's houses? If you show a house within 6 blocks of there while that's going on, those people are to get in their car and leave. I mean, it's just hideous. And then one of the others is, are we affecting the comfort and value of people's lives? Yeah, huge. I mean, that thing is bad.
Yeah, and I would add to that there is obviously a way to make this work without the noise, the bang. I mean,
It's the force.
I can't tell you how to run your business, but I mean, I don't think any of us can. But what I can say is I've seen it and I've heard it, and I've seen and heard the same type of situation where there is no issue. Whether that's managerial control, whether it's equipment, whether it's something else, there is a method and a path to make this okay. We're not going to have complaints from the neighbors, most likely. But we haven't seen it since August, whatever day that was, 16th of 2022. I mean, it's been a constant barrage of complaints and issues. And like I said, I live a mile and a half away, and I'm sure they hear it in the other direction. So you're covering the majority of Decatur with noise at some point. I don't think that's how you want to go down in the record books, right? So, I mean, any further questions or comments?
How are you on your cribbing? I know we talked
Well,
about...
4x6s, they were just crushing, so we went back to 4x4x8 and just started doubling them. Because the wood, like we said before, the wood ain't made like it used to, it just smashes. Yeah. We started doubling them, and that helps, because then they're not leaning. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was two ways to mitigate. Last time we talked about was the cribbing and then the forks, right?
Yeah, I tried before, like I said, 4x6.
Okay, so you did go to wider, skinnier forks, though, and that seems to help to a degree.
Because the ones, the other ones are really fat, you just couldn't get in between without screeching to get in there.
You said you went, what, 4x6s?
Well, I did, so we were just using one 4x6 on each side, but they were just crushing just as bad as the rest of them. So we went back to two 4x4x8s, and that seemed to start to help.
All right.
Any further comments, Kurt?
No, we just, we gotta do something about the noise. Just gotta figure that out. And I agree, I think there's a way to do it, we just need to figure out how to do it. I don't know, are there bigger beams out there? You know,
You can get whatever you want. I mean, you can get 8x8s, you can get... Because it's just the depth of it, right? That's what they're hitting on the screeching?
Yeah, the thickness of the fork getting, yeah.
I've sat and watched them, and then they're dragging them off of piles, and, you know, there's piles of them where there's nothing, and they're all just kind of lean.
Yeah, that's from
I mean, with a
crushing.
fork truck, you're not going to get those off of there anyway without dragging them. It's just, I mean, you almost need a crane. Would be my guess.
Yeah, they were smashing, so that's why we started doubling them, because like he said, they were leaning, and it's like, you just
That doesn't help the depth, it just helps them from not leaning.
We're not crushing the wood.
Yeah.
Because the wood's just not, I mean, it really isn't as strong, you can tell. It's just crushing it.
Not too long ago, I went by, and one of them was shoved through the fence. Not through, but it had the fence pushed out about 3-4 feet, the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And it sat there a couple days,
Before they can get it
which
pulled
just
back
means
up.
they're slamming them around.
Yeah.
But there's one that you can tell, oof, and I'm sure he's a good producer,
Yeah.
because he's getting it done.
Any other comments, questions from the board at this point? I mean, in my opinion, I don't think the hours are an issue if the problem is solved. The problem is not the hours. The problem is what's happening within the hours, no matter what the time frame is. I mean, it could be 12 to 1, but if it's that loud, you're still going to have the issues, right?
Because, yeah, we come back in 2 months and we say, like, yeah, we gave them till 6. And they're going to have our ass. But, you know, you got to be kidding me.
The neighbors will burn my house down.
Yeah, I mean, so it's, because again, we've talked with the councilman, we've talked with everybody, like, we want to make it work, but hey,
Yeah, no.
however,
Yeah, I want to keep it,
yeah, I mean,
In fairness, I mean, several of the letters say, you know, we don't want to run them out of business.
Correct.
We just want it to be quieter.
Mhm.
And I mean, you know, that's,
yeah,
they're not out for blood or anything. I think they just want, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that's been common in 30 or 40 years since GE left, right? And
forever, yeah.
Wayne Novelty closed, you know, a couple blocks away, and what was that casting that was next door?
Yeah.
There was a lot of activity there for many, many years, but it's been very quiet for a long time. I don't think it was to this degree, but it's obviously something was happening. So people were used to hearing the noise, but this is a different type. So, and I guess what are our options? So we can read this findings of fact. Can we table it until he has some mitigation in place?
Sure. The board does have the opportunity to set forth kind of some expectations and additional mitigation requirements and set this out for a future hearing date to review how those mitigation efforts are working out and then revisit the application. You can move through the findings right now and see whether or not the request for an amendment to the special exception use restrictions, because that's essentially what these are. So the special exception use for operation of the business has been passed, that this is part of the restrictions and conditions of that use. So you can go through the findings and see whether or not the amendment would be advisable or would be granted under these circumstances as things stand now. So.
Okay. And I'll tell you the reason I ask that, right? Because, I mean, we have options also to pull the exception, right? Where there is no exception. And that's not good for your business, right? So I guess basically the point I'm trying to make is, can you and are you willing to go make the mitigation efforts and finally rid yourself of this problem? Because your neighbors aren't going to be neighbors anymore. They're going to be angry people. If they're not already, they're going to be, because they don't see any action, right? And that's going to flow through not just you, it's going to flow through this board and then council and everybody else at some point. So.
Yeah, because what I see is that the complaints the last time you were here, they were obviously some. They're picking up. We're getting more and more. So it's going to have to be.
Yeah,
it's going to cost a little money.
We only got Kurt, and he said, nope, haven't got a thing. And then all of a sudden the past, month?
A couple months.
Couple months?
Yeah.
You know, it seems like, it's really ramping up, so.
And that's the last thing we want, is to take a look at the special exemption and say, hey, we're going to have to pull that, which I don't want that one bit. But, yeah, obviously that'd be bad. We're hoping this we can work it out of, all right, 2 months from now, get back, it was like, how's it going? What was done? That kind of stuff. But
I almost think we just table it until he gets his new management under going and everything, and hopefully he can reiterate the fact to him of how important this is to keep everything.
Yeah, have meetings with the team.
Quieter.
It's getting serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless there's
And for loading and unloading, I get it. I mean, he's been in the trucking business. I'm in the lumber business. I get deal trucking all the time, and one would shut down. If you're not there by 3, come back tomorrow. I get it. It sucks. But hours are the hours, and that's just going to extend stuff if you get in trouble with that. But
yeah, I mean, I see it as to me, it's more managerial. Mr. Forklift Driver, you can't make noise when you're doing this. Slow down, do it correctly, teach them the correct path. I don't know, maybe I don't ship anything for 2 days. You practice how to pick them up, put them down, so you're not making noise. I don't know what that path is, but there is a path somehow. So I guess I don't have to go through this if we're going to entertain a motion to table, correct? So, I mean, I would entertain a motion to table with a set date to return and review the mitigation tactics.
do we need to set that date before we make a motion?
Yeah, she's looking.
And yeah, I put a
I mean, I
couple
heard
months.
I was going to say, I
I put a
heard
couple
2 months
months.
a couple times, so that would be like December 2nd, maybe.
And I know Kurt and Brad, they're approachable people to help with stuff like that, but, I mean, you can even ask them to ask one of us to help, and I don't care if we're going to get you up to see SDI or something to see how they load these things up. We'll figure it out.
December 3rd.
Yeah, the third.
Smooth a lot, though.
Yeah.
That would make a big
Make
difference.
it smooth a lot more, really.
Third or the
Is your business seasonal?
December 17th.
Or is it, I mean, does it slow down in the winter? I don't know what,
They kind of like to hold it over winter, so yeah, it'll kind of.
Okay, so I guess I would entertain a motion to table and review the mitigation tactics for either December 3rd or December 17th. Is that fair?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So the motion carries to reconvene on 12/3 or 12/17. We'll work with Mr. Huber on that
Yeah. We'll stand.
and review the mitigation tactics, and at that point, we'll review complaints again. And I think it would be wise of us also to visit this site between now and then
Yeah.
to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
We might have some ideas, and then just see what's actually going on. I've been by it several times, but, so at this point, we'll see you on the 3rd or the 17th.
Either one, I guess.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any old business, Kurt?
No, sir.
Looks like we have some new business.
Yeah, let's see. October 15th, Sharon Bork of 773 Sycamore Street will petition the board for a side yard variance on an accessory building. Mrs. Bork hired a contractor to build her a shed, and they failed to pull a permit. And we built the shed on site for a concrete slab, and they are 4.5 feet roughly from the property line. Our city ordinance says they must be 10 feet. She's willing to move the shed, but the problem is if she moves the shed, she's going to be too close to the house. So she's going to petition the board for a 5-foot variance for a 5-foot side yard setback on the shed. That can get in Indiana fire code. Then we also have Joni Cornett on 909 Line Street is going to be applying for a special exception to run a business from an R1 zone neighborhood. She wants to do a boarding house for dogs. That's it.
Where's Sycamore Street?
Sycamore?
Yeah.
Bell Farms.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one more too. They're coming in tomorrow morning, like this.
Okay.
94 Waynesboro.
Yeah, 904 Waynesboro. We may have an application in by tomorrow that may make that deadline. They want to move a fence. They have 2 front yards. They want to move a fence to, what was it? They want to go for a 10-foot variance.
I think they want to go for 0.
Oh, 0? They want to go for 0 front yard. It's technically on the side of the house, but they want to go for 0 lot line for a fence. And then they want to put a shed just on the inside of the fence.
Okay.
Brandywine actually dead ends into a field.
No, so that's the end of Brandywine where Waynesboro hits it. They're on that corner. Gotcha. Okay. Anything else? Good. Anything else from the board? Dan?
No. What was the address for the second one for the boarding house petition?
909 Line Street.
Okay.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you.